everybody, Laura here from Mama Elephant. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are featuring the You Raise Me Up stamp set along with the coordinating You Raise Me Up creative cuts. Make sure and leave a comment on this video for a chance to win a prize from Mama Elephant. So this is the You Raise Me Up stamp set, and as you can see, they have some adorable stacked up critters. So you got a long tall one with a flag on the top, and then here's a shorter one with an elephant, a deer, and a koala bear. And then there's some great little coordinating sentiments. Of course, there's coordinating creative cuts as well. I'm going to create a card using one of these cute little images. I stamped both of them, but I ended up only using one of them. So I'm stamping with some Copic friendly black ink, and I like to stamp it twice to make it nice. And I do let this black ink dry for quite a while before I start coloring. Okay, starting with the coloring. I've got my marker caps here. I sped this up so it doesn't take too long, but I do keep it kind of simple. You can make these as detailed and intricate and realistic as you want, or you can keep them very, very simple. Also, another thing that I see some people do, which is gorgeous, is a little no-line coloring. Have you ever attempted no-line coloring? Honestly, I don't think I have. One of these days I'm going to have to try that. It does look beautiful, but it can look a little intimidating if you haven't tried it. Okay, so what do we have here with the stacked up critters? We have a bear on the bottom, and I believe this is a fox. I think it's a fox. So I'm doing a little bit of orange on his fur and leaving some of it white, keeping it pretty simple. And then on top of the fox, we have a cute little bunny. And then is that a hedgehog? And a squirrel? And then a bird. I'm guessing, you probably could adapt these to different critters if you so desire. Okay, so marker caps, Copics, keep it as simple. Stacking it up. What can I say? We do have a lot of critters running through our yard. Yesterday, our dog, we have a golden retriever, Hank the Tank, and he wants to be outside all day long. He's getting quite large. He's not full grown yet, but he is a big bear. So I had him on a leash outside in the front yard. I can't let him go free. He'll roam the neighborhood. And anywho, so I had him out front, and up comes into our yard a cute little deer, like a small one. I could tell it was small. And he was coming up to Hank like they were having a little conversation. But I knew that when Hank stood up and had that stance, like he's ready to charge, and I opened the door and I said, Hank, no. Just as I said no, he bolted after that deer with the force of 10 brown bears and snapped that leash right off his neck, and they both went running down the street. And the neighbor guy across the street, he came out his door and he said, you know what? I was just having my cup of tea, enjoying these two. They were entertaining me. He's like, I saw them run all the way down the street. He's like, I don't think you're going to get him. And I said, well, you know what? He'll come back when he gets hungry. And it wasn't about 10 minutes later, here comes Hank the Tank, trotting down, ready for lunch. So now I'm going to have to buy him a new collar. I did not realize he could snap that right off his neck. Anywho, Hank, what are we going to do? Okay, so I'm taking the coordinating You Raise Me Up creative cut. I take it off camera, run it through my die cutting machine, and there you have a simple stacked up row of critters. Now this is a new product, the Postage frame creative cuts, and I'm going to use the outer Postage frame border on this project. So I'm going to die cut it into some white cardstock, and this creates a really nice detailed border edge. I'm going to take that same die and die cut it with some blue cardstock. Now this time, instead of using the detailed border edge, I'm going to use the center rectangle and pop that back in to the frame. And then what I'm going to do is take 2 little scraps of green cardstock and freehand cut some hills with a craft knife. This is really easy, and maybe you have some dies that can cut wavy hills, but I didn't feel like rummaging through and find them. It's easy to do with a craft knife, so I just cut 2 loosey-goosey hills. I have a cream card base, and then so I've got my white postage border with the blue rectangle panel. I'm going to tape down my grassy hills, kind of layering them, staggering them, just giving a little bit of grounding for my critters. Totally optional. And what I'm going to do is turn this into like a full card shaker. And so I'm flipped over the postage border, add a little acetate to the back, and then I'm going to put some foam strips to create my shaker window. I'm using some of these foam adhesive strips. They make creating shaker cards so quick and easily. I believe the ones I have here are by Waffle Flower Crafts, and you just trim them to fit. And then I'm going to fill my background with an assortment of blue, light blue, aqua sequins for a kind of tone-on-tone shaker. I want to have a little shake, but I don't want it to be too distracting. So there you have a full card shaker background. I'm going to pop up my stacked up critters, and then I'm going to add a simple embossed sentiment from the You Raise Me Up stamp set. So I have the thank you for being there for me, but there are several other great sentiment options in that stamp set. I'm going to emboss this in white onto black. So first I rub down my black cardstock with a magic powder bag, ink it up with Versamark ink, pour on some white embossing powder, and heat it with a heat gun. And this just takes a second. I like to get my heat gun nice and hot before I start. And then I'm going to trim a little fishtail on the end just for some added detail and tuck this right behind the bear's armpit. And it just kind of nestles right in there like it was meant to be. So there you have a full card shaker featuring the new You Raise Me Up stamp set along with the creative cuts and the postage frame creative cuts. All of these will be available on March 15th. We'll be back tomorrow for more introductions. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.